My quick steamed broccoli salad. Oh. Yeah, you like broccoli salad?
I do, I grew up on it. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I love broccoli salad, and I love it even more when you steam the broccoli florets. So I've already got some here that I've steamed in the microwave. Gonna put some garlic in here. Now, normally at home, I do this with my fingers, some lemon zest, and some thyme. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna do it with my fingers, show you what I do at home, because I feel like the heat of your hands really kind of brings the oils out.
Look at that.
And I just kind of, all the way around the bowl. The way I do this is because I feel like if I drop, you know, lemon zest right onto the broccoli florets, it'll just kind of hang out in one spot when you toss it, and I want that flavor all over the place.
Good tip.
So, put the broccoli florets in. All right, so refrigerate this uncovered because you don't want it to continue to steam. And I'm gonna make a mayo-based dressing, so that's why we want this to be cold. And obviously, this is a great salad that's served cold or room temperature. So I'm gonna show you how to make the dressing. It's really, really simple. Some mayonnaise, gonna add to that some lemon juice, some sriracha.
Oh, coming back.
A little bit of flavor. It is coming back, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's gone.
For a minute,
I feel like
yeah.
it's coming back.
And then some sugar. Now I like to kind of whisk until you kind of, those grains of sugar go away.
Yeah.
And then add a little bit of black pepper. I really love a broccoli salad, right? I love the idea of freshly steaming it and having those broccoli florets nice and tender. And I could eat the entire bowl.
What'd you put in there?
So that's some red onions that I chopped, some raisins, and then you can do either dried cranberry or dried cherries is really fun in this. And that's the flavor base. Thyme comes out, just pour this over the top, and then it's another nice toss of the dressing.
And you're hitting a ton of texture in there too, right? Man. From the broccoli, from the soft, you know, dried fruit.
And the cool thing is the broccoli florets, they really stand up after the steam. You still get that crunch, and it holds up. So if you're having like a cookout or friends over for a potluck, this is actually great, and it travels well. And there you have it. Get that in the bowl, and one more thing for team texture. Toasted almond slivers that I always keep in my freezer, and I just kind of re-toast them when I get them into the game plan, and there you go. It's my broccoli salad.
I might live in New York these days, but my heart will always be in West Virginia. Here's a dish that I make sometimes when I'm homesick. So let's get started. There we go. All right, a little bit of flour goes down. And I really like this canned crescent roll dough. You can do a lot with this. It's one of those good little easy tricks. And I'm just gonna roll it out, and we're gonna leave it all in one piece. So just kind of pinch together those seams. I'm just gonna hit it with a little bit more flour and then roll it. So I'm from West Virginia, and pepperoni rolls might as well be the state sandwich, I guess if you call it a sandwich. Gus, you're my little pepperoni roll over there. I'm gonna top it with my pepperoni now. Now I'm gonna add some broccoli. This is just frozen broccoli that I thawed and chopped. I know a lot of you are probably saying, broccoli doesn't go on pepperoni rolls. Well, I just kind of like the way the broccoli and the pepperoni goes together. Now I'm gonna season it with a little bit of garlic salt. And now the cheese. I love me some cheese. So mozzarella, this is a great melting cheese. And now it's time to roll. So it's just like if you were making cinnamon rolls. Just take it from the long edge. And it's okay that the seams are a little bit broken. It's all gonna get sealed together. Now I'm gonna cut this into about 6 or 7 pieces. We've got a greased pan here. I'm just gonna set these in, cut side up, and leave a little bit of space because they are gonna grow in the oven. 400 degrees for about 20, 25 minutes. Okay. Pepperoni pinwheels are done. Look at that. I'm gonna top them with some grated Parmesan because I like extra cheese, please. And I've got a glass of Lambrusco. I chose this Lambrusco to go with my pepperoni pinwheel because I think having that fizzy moment is really nice with that fatty pepperoni. And it's also got a nice fruitiness to it that balances out the spice of the pepperoni. Without further ado, I'm getting right in here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm cooking the pasta. I've got it on high heat. And then I basically took Italian sausage and just tore it into chunks. And I've been cooking it. I got a couple pieces that got a little bit brown. I'm gonna break them up and pretend that never happened. But that's okay, because it's gonna add great flavor. So the sausage is about halfway cooked. So I'm gonna add a whole bunch of thinly sliced onion, which the flavor is just gonna be magnificent. And then some sliced garlic cloves, probably about 3 or 4 cloves, but you can add like 6, 7 cloves if you want to. And then I'm stirring this around and letting the onions start to cook. It's so funny, when I married Lad Drummond, AKA your father, AKA your uncle, AKA your father-in-law, he wasn't a big fan of pasta. I don't think pasta is a thing on ranches. He just didn't grow up eating it. I grew up eating pasta. So I kind of have found the best of both worlds. I really tend to like vegetarian pastas with like angel hair and light wine garlic sauces. But if you want to find a pasta that Lad and the Cowboys like to eat, you've got to fill it with meat and heartiness and all the good things in life. And this totally fits that bill. And you sneak in the broccolini, so you're getting your vegetables in there before they know what hit them. They've had their meat, they've had their vegetables, or actually their vegetables stay on their plate and their wife eats it, but the world is an imperfect place. All right, so I just added some tomato paste, and I'm kind of stirring it around the bottom of this hot pot and letting it kind of fry on the bottom. And then I'm gonna add some crushed red pepper flakes, lots of it. I like spice. If I'm gonna have like Italian sausage pasta, I wanna add lots of spice to it. Do you like Italian sausage stew?
I do. Is it like a little spicy?
Well, it is now, because I added crushed red pepper. It's a good thing you were listening to me just now. I wanna turn this into a little bit of a saucy situation. So I'm actually going to carefully dunk a heat-proof pitcher into the cooking pasta. And I'm gonna pour, not too much, probably about half a cup, into the pot, and it's gonna cook down and just create the perfect sauce to toss the pasta in. So I'm also gonna grab the broccolini and show you one of my favorite tricks. You could add it into the skillet, or, this is really fun, you drop it into the pasta pot.
Oh.
Oh, Mauricio's not sure about this.
Wow.
But you'll see how easy this is in just a few minutes. So I'm gonna let the sauce cook and finish reducing. I'm gonna let the pasta and the broccolini finish cooking, and then we will pull this masterpiece all together. Give me just about 4 minutes. So, got the cooked rigatoni and the cooked broccolini. You don't want to add the broccolini too early because you want it to stay a little bit firm, but still be in there long enough to get tender. Best of both worlds. So in goes broccolini and pasta. Isn't that a beautiful sight? Mm-hmm. And then Parmesan before I toss.
Of course.
To me, this is the fun part though. Ready? I'm gonna turn off the heat. Look, Alex.
Wow.
Look, Stuart.
I can't.
Look, Mauricio.
Wow.
Oh, now would you guys eat this broccolini, or would you leave it on the plate?
I would eat it.
Yeah,
I'd eat
it's
it.
good when you're eating like this much meat and carbs. You need to have some veggies too. And the more you stir it, the more the sauce just coats that rigatoni. Look at that, how pretty.
Wow.
And then a little more sprinkle of Parmesan and some parsley.
Yummy.
I'll take this any day of the week, twice on Sunday, 3 times Monday. This is my kind of weeknight dinner right here, and I'm gonna prove it to you. Forget about it. So many good things about this. I love it.
and making giant, juicy pulled pork sandwiches piled high with charred broccoli slaw all onto a pretzel bun. I act like I'm making it for the farmers, but I'm obviously also excited to eat these too. To start, I've got 3 pounds of boneless pork shoulder here that I'm seasoning all over with salt. And I've cut this into 3-inch pieces. It'll make it easier to pull and it'll cook quicker. And I'll sear it right in my pressure cooker, so it's a one-pot wonder. I'll get a couple of tablespoons of oil in here. Don't skip this step, it is crucial for flavor. Such a satisfying sound. I have this on the high saute setting so that I can really get that great color. I'll sear this in batches. I don't want to overcrowd the pan, few minutes per side. So typically for harvest, I just do sweet baked goods for the farmers, but last year I figured I'll add an extra special treat and do some pulled pork sandwiches. This was toward the end of harvest. So I drove around delivering them, and when you drive around during harvest here, you see all the tractors in all the fields. There are more trucks on the roads. There are sugar beets sprinkled all over the road. It's actually really exciting. There's this great energy in the air. This is their big moment. So this searing really bumps up the flavor of the meat. If you've ever tried a slow-cooked meat that hasn't been seared, it kind of just falls flat. I'll get these out and then get the other batch in. Pressure cookers are a little easier to clean than a big honkin' Dutch oven, which is nice because Nick's busy harvesting right now. He doesn't have time to do all the dishes like he normally does. All right, that's done. I'll get these out and then continue on with my braising liquid. I'll toss in a chopped red onion with a little salt and saute until it's soft. Smelling sweet and porky. I'll get my spice blend in now, which is a mixture of cayenne, paprika, garlic, and cumin. So it's savory, it's smoky, it's a little bit spicy, but not overly so. And I'll allow my spices to toast in with the onion. I'm smelling that cumin. Once I can really smell the spices, I know they've toasted, I'll pour in 1 cup of low sodium chicken stock. I'll sweeten this with a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and then brighten it up with 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, giving you those sweet, appley, harvesty vibes. Ketchup, the love of my life. I'll add a 1/2 cup of ketchup. This will also help kind of thicken the sauce as well. And 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce will add saltiness and delicious depth. I'll nestle my pork back in. And as this pork cooks, it'll get fall apart tender as it absorbs all of these delicious flavors. I'll get the lid on. I'll pressure cook this on high for 50 minutes while I make my broccoli slaw. See you later. This will be a nice, colorful, crunchy contrast to the saucy meat. I'm starting with 2 heads of broccoli that I've chopped into florets. Anytime I can get some vegetables and nutrition into Nick during harvest, I take advantage of it. I'm tossing this with 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'll season with a good pinch of salt. I'll toss this together and spread it out all over my sheet pan, and I'll roast this at 475 for 12 to 15 minutes until it's charred. And then while that goes, I'll make my dressing. I've got some buttermilk for tang and mayonnaise, because is it a Midwest slaw without mayonnaise? I'll start with 1/2 cup. And then a 1/4 cup of buttermilk, which will thin it out and add that delicious sourness. A splash of apple cider vinegar for acidity, a little honey for sweetness, and some garlic powder. I'll season with salt and pepper. I'll give this a whisk. I'll pile in my fresh veggies. I've got a jalapeno, shredded carrot, thinly sliced onion, and pineapple, which is of course really good with pork. It'll add that hit of sweetness. I'll get my broccoli. Oh yeah, that's good and crisp. I could eat this whole pan. I like roasting broccoli for this slaw as opposed to doing raw florets because it softens it a little. It'll eat better with the pork. I'll toss this all together. I'm loving all of these colors. All right, this looks so good. I'm gonna go in for a taste. That is so good. I can't wait to put these sandwiches together. This has been pressure cooking for about 50 minutes and it is just fall apart tender. My broccoli slaw is ready to go and now all I need to do is put together my sandwiches. The juices are still in the pressure cooker. I'm gonna reduce them so that they can get thick and saucy. And to do that, I just hit saute. That'll go for about 15 to 20 minutes and in that time, I'll shred up my pork. Oh yeah, I barely have to do anything because it's so soft. There are some good smells going into my nose right now. I have a couple of toasted pretzel buns here, which are good and sturdy. They won't get soggy under the pulled pork. To assemble my sandwiches, I'll start with a pile of slaw. I do the slaw first so that the sauce has more room to travel before getting into that bun. A pile of meat. Oh yeah. And I'll get some of that reduced sauce. This will be like the glue that holds everything together. Nice. That is a beautiful sandwich. Give it a smash to bring it all together. I'm not waiting for this one. Look at you. Hello. Oh yeah, that does not suck. It's sweet, it's salty, it's juicy. That crunch from the pineapple and the broccoli is doing it for me. I'm gonna have one more bite of this and then I'll build some more to bring out to the farmers.
Every dinner needs some kind of a green vegetable, even a celebration dinner. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna roast some broccoli and then I'm gonna dress it up for a party with Panko Gremolata. I'll show you how I cook the broccoli. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting through the stems and then pulling the florets apart. And that way you have nice, really clean florets. So that's 2 large bunches of broccoli. And the key here is I'm putting them on 2 sheet pans. If I put them on 1 sheet pan, they're all gonna steam. If I put them on 2 sheet pans, they're gonna roast, and it makes all the difference in the world. They'll get nice and brown and crisp and delicious. And this is my classic method of roasting. Olive oil, salt, and pepper. Okay, about 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Just drizzle it on. Lots of salt and pepper. Salt. And pepper. Clean hands. Toss it all together. And then spread them out so that they're in one layer. And that way they're gonna roast and they're gonna be delicious. Really brings out the sugars in the vegetable. Toss it together. Spread it out. Okay, into the oven, 400 degrees for just 15 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm gonna make the Panko Gremolata. So I've got a little bit of oil that I've heated up, 2 teaspoons of garlic. Gremolata is classically garlic, lemon, and parsley, but I'm gonna do it with garlic, lemon, and pine nuts. I need to cook it for about 30 seconds, just until you smell the fragrant garlic. Don't wanna overcook it. And the other change I'm making is I'm doing it with panko, which is Japanese bread flakes. Makes it crisp. 1/2 cup of panko. Just add it in. I'm just gonna toss them together and just saute it for about 3 minutes, just until it's lightly browned. Okay, I think the panko is perfectly brown now. Just want kind of a light toasted color, just like that. Okay, now off the heat, I'm gonna add some lemon zest, 2 teaspoons. That's the lemon part of the gremolata. Just gonna zest it right into this. I love this dish because the broccoli is really tender and sort of the edges are a little crispy. And the Panko Gremolata adds a nice crunch at the top with lots of flavor. Okay, that's the lemon zest. It smells so good. Next thing is 2 tablespoons of toasted pine nuts. All you have to do is put them in a dry pan and toast them a little bit until they're browned. And that's Panko Gremolata. All ready for the broccoli. The broccoli's roasted perfectly, crisp, tender. So I'm gonna put this on a platter, and then I'm gonna do the Gremolata on top of it. Doesn't have to be particularly neat. I kind of like a nice pile of vegetables. Isn't this great? I love that the tops of the broccoli are kind of browned. Just looks delicious. Okay. Let me get it all on this platter if I can. Fantastic. I think a green vegetable on a buffet really makes everything else look delicious. And now, while the broccoli's still warm, I'm gonna squeeze some lemon juice on it. I always think it's that edge that really brings out the flavor in things. Vinegar, lemon, something like that. This is gonna be delicious. Yeah. And when the broccoli's still warm, it really absorbs the flavor. Okay, and last, the Gremolata. With garlic and the panko, pine nuts, lemon zest. I mean, I would say this is a side dish fit for a celebration. Okay, a little bit of salt. For a green vegetable, that looks pretty special, doesn't it?
Okay, it's time for my roasted salmon with sweet potatoes and crispy broccolini. So broccolini, first of all, is Chinese broccoli and broccoli.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So I love it, and you just cut it up like this, put it in a bowl. This is raw. You don't have to blanch it. I think I like it better than broccoli. It's easier, and it's a little easy to chew. And I'm going to show you a trick for easy sweet potato wedges. So I have some sweet potato in a microwave for about 2 minutes.
What?
Just to lightly soften them up.
Did you prick them or anything?
No pricking.
Okay.
Okay. And they're still raw in the center.
Yes.
And then we take one of these suckers. You know what this is, right?
That is called a apple core wedger.
You ready?
Apple segment.
Look at that.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeffers.
Make nice wedges like that. And
That's a nice little time saver.
this I say for the dog, because dogs, this is very good for dogs.
It is good.
Oh,
we
give
give
it to
JoJo and
Gus,
Pino.
maybe.
Gus can have that,
Yeah,
right?
they love sweet potatoes.
Listen, if you do want to feed your dog little leftover pieces of sweet potato, make sure that they're fully cooked, okay?
Exactly.
True, yes.
Okay, so
Lost
Jeff,
that.
you're gonna help
Yes.
me by picking some cilantro
Sounds fun.
and slicing some scallions really.
They're really thin? All right, Coach, you got it. Whatever you need
ready?
today.
Okay, so we're gonna get a sheet pan. So we have salmon, sweet potatoes, and veggies. So this veggie can be basically whatever you want it to be. We have chosen these three. So I'm gonna put it all in the bowl. So I'm gonna put this in the bowl. Onions.
Oh, yeah, GZ, what kind of salmon is that?
This is farm-raised salmon.
Love it.
Really beautiful, and you wanna make sure they're all cut about the same way without the skin. This particular dish doesn't have skin. If I had a hot pan or a cast iron pan,
Yeah, you
I
crisp
would
it
put
up.
skin, but not this one. Okay, so in the bowl, I have a little. Oh,
What is
smell
that?
This is amazing.
What is it?
Oh, come on.
I have a feeling you smell it because you don't know what it is either.
Come on, let's see.
Who can guess?
That's what he
Begins with an
usually
L.
does.
Oh, lavender.
It's a little lavender.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a...
Herb de Provence. I was
Herb
gonna
de
say it's very
Provence, but there's a
Provence-y.
lot of lavender in herb de Provence.
You
I
are
just really love
so...
it, right?
You are so, like, awesome. Everything you
Some
do.
extra virgin olive oil.
Herb de Provence, it also has basil, fennel,
good, yeah.
marjoram.
Love it. Okay, a good amount of salt and pepper.
Did you know that lavender in your yard gets the mosquitoes away a lot?
Is it really?
Please,
Yeah,
anything for that.
I always cross-plant lavender around the front door and the back porch.
So believe it or not, we're almost done. So we're just gonna toss this in this bowl. And we're gonna go to our oven, and what I have in the oven's at 400 degrees, and I put a sheet pan in the oven, which we do a lot around here. We preheat the sheet pan with some aluminum foil on it, so
Okay.
that there's less cleanup,
Okay.
okay?
Non-stick aluminum foil?
So you're not using this sheet pan
I've
here,
never
'cause
heard
that's
of
just to hold the
non-stick aluminum
salmon.
foil.
It's
Is there
awesome.
such a thing?
It's everywhere. They've got store brand now and everything, and it's
Yeah,
just
watch out,
really a time
Jeff, that's
saver in
hot.
the kitchen.
Oh,
So I'm just dumping this, look at this. So it's already seasoned, right? Salt and pepper, you hear the sizzle?
I love it.
Right?
I'm having a Pavlov's response, like a dog.
I got excited.
We're taking the salmon, we're putting it right on top of the vegetables.
This is so smart.
Simple, right?
This guy, you are like, this is very, I mean, you used a microwave, first of all,
Yeah, this is different.
and then you wedged the
little-
whole sweet potato. I mean, you're really doing a lot.
A little olive oil,
Very good.
salt and pepper, and we're good to go. It's gonna go in the oven for about
70.
15
Is
minutes.
that wine there? What's...
Yes, it's a little wine, don't worry.
I saw wine and I wanted it.
We have that icing as we speak. We're gonna put a little wine on this. What this does is help steam it just a bit, add some moisture, and get the vegetables cooked at the same time.
Oh, it's still snizzling.
What kind of wine?
White wine,
Doesn't matter.
Sancerre or Chardonnay, something you would drink.
Okay.
Okay. In the oven.
So from the box.
400 degrees, about 10 to 15 minutes. Watch it, don't overcook salmon. There's nothing worse than overcooked salmon.
No me gusta.
Here we go. Oh.
Put everything right in front of me here to clean up.
Okay, look at that. Isn't that just gorge? Is that gorge?
It's pretty.
Wow.
Okay. Now comes the fun part. So who's tasting this?
Daddy Geoffrey.
You're tasting?
Yep.
This is my kind of meal. I love
So
this.
there's
I'm
no,
making it.
there's no fuss to this. You just want to put it on the plate. Okay.
You say there's no fuss, but there's something about your hands and the connectivity between your hands and your brain that make everything look really good, GZ.
Love lemon juice on everything, just about. And just to finish, for some extra crunch, some scallion and some cilantro.
All right.
And then you have my
Very
cheat
Alvin
sheet
too, man. That's it.
salmon
Alvin knows.
with roasted vegetables. Bon
That
appetit.
baby around,
All right.
that's beautiful.
I'm just gonna after that salmon right quick. Oh yeah. Ooh.
Yeah?
Like a hot knife through hot salmon.
Pilot high, GZ. See,
Wow.
you just gave us 2 ways to plate it. I really like that way, too.
It's all about that. You can see the inside of that salmon is like perfectly medium too, but the vegetables surrounding it are crisp but soft when they need to be, like that. Sweet potato is like perfectly yielding and everything. We got a little edge to it, so you get a little crunch on there. The broccolini, you're right. It's like the best. It's like super textured broccoli. And a little milder, awesome. That squeeze of lemon is key at the end there, and all the fresh herbs in there, the scallions. This is awesome.
Broccoli cheese stromboli. I started by cooking some sliced onions and garlic in some butter, and now I'll add the broccoli to the pan. I just took a head of broccoli, cut off the tough stems, and then broke it into tiny florets. It'll finish cooking in the oven so it doesn't have to get totally soft in the pan. And it needs some salt and pepper, of course. The boys have eaten my broccoli cheese soup since they were babies, pretty much. And so putting a broccoli cheese spin on pizza is a really good idea. And you can use homemade pizza dough, you can use store-bought pizza dough. I'm gonna use frozen bread dough that I thawed, so it's really, really easy. Okay, the broccoli is already starting to green up and get a little bit softer. So I'm actually gonna turn off the heat and stop the cooking process, and I wanna give this a chance to cool before I add it to the dough. Speaking of the dough, I'm gonna get it rolled out and ready. Frozen bread dough is such a revelation. They're frozen before they rise, so you just have to let them thaw out and then give them a chance to rise a little bit. And I'm telling you what, I use this stuff for so many things as a shortcut. I'm just pressing it into a little bit of a rectangle shape. And then I'll use the rolling pin just to roll it super thin. I'm gonna roll it out to about 11 by 13 inches. Frozen bread dough, you can use it to make regular pizza. It is so good. I'm always amazed at how versatile it is. It really is an amazing product, and it tastes delicious. Okay, that looks great. Now I'm gonna do a layer of sun-dried tomato pesto. It just adds a little bit of flavor to the inside of the stromboli. It's not overwhelming. You can do regular marinara sauce or pizza sauce, of course. This is another shortcut ingredient, jarred pesto. If you had to stop and make the pesto, it would take way, way too long, especially if you have hungry dudes hovering around you. Okay, that's great. So let me check the temperature of the broccoli and onions. It has cooled down quite a bit already. So I'll sprinkle it onto the pesto. You can only imagine the variations of this stromboli that you can make. Really, you can use up leftovers in a stromboli, which is a kind of a nice frugal way to go about it. So I've got the broccoli all spread out. And now for the cheese. And then I kind of want to hold all this on here, so I'm gonna shingle on some slices of cheese. I'm just using regular supermarket mozzarella is what I call it. But you could do slices of provolone. You could even do Swiss, depending on what your other fillings are. then to elevate things a little bit, I'm gonna sprinkle on some basil leaves. You don't have to be too neat and orderly about it. Now I just need to roll this into a log. So the first thing I'll do is take the short ends and just kind of tuck them up. This is sort of like one gigantic burrito. Now I'll start on this end closest to me, and it's just about rolling this into a great big pizza log. So just roll it and press it as you go. You want to wind up with a really nice, tight roll. And I'm gonna grab the pan and get it on there first before I finish the top. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take a sharp paring knife and just cut little slits along the top. It helps to keep the stromboli from breaking open when it bakes. And then I wanna brush olive oil very generously over the top. When you use frozen bread dough for any sort of pizza recipe, you always wanna brush it pretty liberally with olive oil. Then you can sprinkle on Parmesan and it'll stick. I've always got a plan. Okay, now I'm gonna bake the stromboli at 400 degrees for 20 minutes, so I'll see you when it's done. I think you're gonna like the look of this. I know I'm gonna like the look of it. That Parmesan bakes on top. It kind of makes a little crust on top of the crust. Okay, I'm gonna get it onto a serving board. And then I love to serve stromboli with a really good quality jarred sauce, and I warmed it in a saucepan, and I'll serve up a big bowl of it. The boys will probably pull out ranch when they eat this. And then I like to decorate the platter with some extra basil leaves, sprinkle them on top. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of dying to cut into this. I want to see what happened in the oven. That is the fun part after all. You can slice this totally and serve it already sliced. Look at that. Look at all that cheesy goodness. That redeeming layer of vegetables, that's always nice. Broccoli cheese stromboli.
Broccoli and broccoli stem salad. Because you know what we do? We grab the broccoli and we cut all these cute little florets off the top. It's like trimming all the flowers and just leaving all the stems, right?
I know, the stem's always sad and gets thrown in the trash.
Yeah.
The little things we do not to have things left over is a big part of being green. It's just not wasting and buying the right stuff. The florets, I just cut them down a little bit so they're all kind of relatively the same size. And then for the broccoli stem, I literally just take a peeler to it as if it were a carrot. The outside is really chewy and tough, and it becomes even more so when you cook it.
Alex, I'm watching you do that with that vegetable peeler. You could just keep doing that and make that part of the salad, just like a carrot
Like zoodles,
shaving.
but with...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always cut the bottom part off because it's just a little too woodsy. And then I just cut it into about inch rounds so that I imagine it's gonna cook in a similar time frame to the florets, right? Because this is all roasted. This super simply, I mean, really, because we've got some big flavors in the dressing. So I like to keep this part kind of simple. Just a little olive oil. And you do need to touch quite a bit of the broccoli. It really needs that. I mean, broccoli has nowhere to hide.
And very smart. You got that parchment paper down. Let's clean up.
Oh, definitely. And then I'm gonna put these in the oven at 375 for about 15 to 20 minutes till they get nice and tender and a little bit browned.
Brown broccoli, I love it.
I know, I like the little crispy bits, especially even if it's a little burnt.
Yeah.
I like it.
Definitely. And I don't think we have that browned flavor enough in salads. It's kind of an unusual
You're right.
place.
You don't think about doing the roasted for a salad.
The dressing has some really big flavors. Some of my favorites. I know Geoffrey says that a jar of mustard and I are one, and I put a quarter cup.
Wow.
I think that's a whole jar of Dijon.
Okay, it's a whole jar of Dijon, not a lot of calories. Really delicious. Quarter cup of olive oil to match the mustard. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. About a tablespoon of lemon zest. I'm really into measuring or telling people how much lemon zest, because people may just grate that lemon and have like a cup and put it in, you know, because they get excited. Tiny pinch of sugar. just because there's a lot of like mustardy and spicy little bits, and then 2 tablespoons of creamed horseradish.
Oh my Lord.
Oh.
So this has mayonnaise or sour cream, depending, mixed into grated horseradish.
Oh, that's the cream one. That's not the one in the jar. The
Yeah.
Not the prepared horseradish, the creamed
Which I
horseradish.
live on.
We are not
I put that in
going.
my coffee in the morning. I love that.
Oh, man.
Just whisk all this together.
Wait, so is that water that you put in?
Yeah, so I do often find when I make salad dressing, one of the most underrated things is just a splash of water. Just to kind of smooth it, especially when there are a lot of strong flavors, but also make it easier to coat whatever you're putting in your salad. I'm
we go.
gonna
Yep.
just stem.
Oh, yeah.
Upcycled tarragon.
Yeah, but just a little, right? Because we didn't know we were putting it, but now that we have this indoor garden, you know, it really, it upcycles your cooking. Forget about it, you know? Okay, first, the stems, I feel, they need the most help. So I always sort of drop them in the dressing first. I give them, you know, first class seating. Give them a glass of champagne and the mixed nuts first, and then I add the florets, which I'll just all put on here. So this is really the base of it. And there's too much dressing. But we know then that those stems are gonna get really coated. Please, for my grandmother, I always, just a tiny pinch of sugar. People say, why don't vegetables taste like they did when I was a kid? And I said, just add a pinch of sugar, and it's the adult
Helps the
form.
medicine go down.
It really makes any salad dressing better to have
does,
that
it
little
really does.
touch of sweetness.
And
And
then-
this is such a great summer side, you know, to make a salad like this. It's very easy, only a few ingredients. All of those ingredients for your vinaigrette you got on hand.
And I just go from the inside to the out and bring it up, almost like when you fold egg whites into something. You don't want to overwork the broccoli, or, you know, you want to be kind of gentle with it. So scoop from the bottom and turn it so it coats. And then a little bit of arugula, because I like that taste. I never chop arugula unless I'm using it like an herb. But when in a salad like this, I do just cut it a little bit, tiny drizzle. I don't like to be gratuitous with olive oil because it has a lot of calories. But a little bit at the end, kind of nice, because there actually isn't a lot of fat in this. Me at home, I'd probably serve this right in the bowl, shamelessly.
Yeah, wash another dish.
But I do like,
It is so pretty in there.
It is, I like a mound.
Gorgeous.
Salad, a mound
Alex.
salad.
Gorgeous salad.
and then just serve it up. I'm going right for the stem, because that's the part we want to.
Ah. Oh.
It smells so good and
The
spicy.
mustard and the horseradish, the lemon zest, but not too much. Everything just fits here. It's a lot of the same flavor in different forms, but most of all, we didn't waste anything.
Parmesan roasted broccoli. For everybody who thinks they don't like broccoli, you have to try this. So it's in 2 parts. First, I'm going to roast the broccoli. And then the next thing I'm going to do is toss it with lemon juice, pine nuts, basil, give it lots of flavor. So it's up to you how much of the stock that you use, but I like a little bit of stock. I want it to look like broccoli. That's about 2.5 cups of broccoli. That's enough for 2. So I need garlic. I'm just gonna sliver it, slice it really thinly, give it lots of flavor. The thing about roasting vegetables is you want to do it at high temperature so it really caramelizes the flavors. Just toss it together with the broccoli. Drizzle of olive oil. It helps the cooking. Lots of salt and pepper. Just toss it all together. Clean hands. Into the oven, 425 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. And then I'm going to add lots of other flavors. Lemon juice, basil. It's going to be great. So I'm going to make a topping for the broccoli. Broccoli's roasting in the oven. A little garlic, olive oil, salt and pepper. I'm going to start with about a half a teaspoon of lemon zest. About 2 tablespoons of good Parmesan cheese. I always use good aged Reggiano Parmesan. Makes such a difference. Okay, that doesn't have to be exact amounts. I'm going to use basil, like 6 leaves of basil. These are big leaves. I'm just giving them a quick julienne. So what I'm doing is I'm roasting the broccoli, and then when it comes out of the oven, I'm just gonna put this little topping on it. It really flavors it. Just cook it for a minute until the cheese melts. Even kids will eat broccoli this way. Okay, and then the last thing is 1½ tablespoons of toasted pine nuts. I just toasted them in a dry pan, and it really brings out the flavor of the pine nuts. You know, when they're in the jar, they're sort of bland, but when they're toasted, they're just delicious. I'm just gonna make a little mixture here on the board. Just toss it all together. Okay, next the broccoli. That looks great. Lots of toppings, give it more flavor. All the Parmesan cheese is gonna melt onto it. Pinwheels and lemon zest. And then a little olive oil and lemon juice, just kind of like putting a little vinaigrette on it. Give broccoli as much flavor as possible. A little squeeze of lemon juice. Okay, into a serving bowl.
Broccoli rice casserole is a cherished Thanksgiving staple. I started by sauteing some finely minced onion with a little bit of garlic in butter. It's nice and soft. So I'm gonna move forward with making a scrumptious sauce. I'm gonna thicken it up with flour, about 1/4 cup. And I let the flour cook just a little bit. So I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of mustard powder and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So I'll stir those in. Ooh, that cayenne, I kind of got a little whiff of it. So now I've got 3 cups of whole milk. I'm gonna turn the heat up just a little bit, and I'll stir the onion and flour mixture while I pour in the milk. Now I need to let this heat up, and it's gonna bubble up and thicken. That'll take about 3 minutes. Amazing. I'm gonna make the sauce a little more creamy by adding some cream cheese. I'm gonna kind of break it up as I add it. I'm gonna add some grated Parmesan. Okay, that is looking good. So I'll grab some salt and pepper. And I like to add quite a bit of pepper. You really can't add too much pepper. At least in my neck of the woods, you can't. And I've got some paprika, and I'll just add about 1/2 teaspoon. So I'll mix that in. So much flavor. Okay, now the cheeses for broccoli rice casserole are very important. You've got to start with good old processed cheese. I cut it into cubes. There is nothing creamier than this cheese when you add it to a sauce. Now I've got some freshly grated sharp cheddar, and I'm gonna add about 1.5 cups, and I'll save the rest to go over the casserole when it goes into the oven. So you're probably wondering, well, what about the broccoli? That goes in now. I've got 8 small heads. Make sure all that broccoli is coated in the cheesy goodness. Okay, it's pretty thick, but that's exactly what you want. So I'm gonna add some sliced pimentos. Pimentos are something I have in my pantry all the time because there are so many casseroles that I'll just kind of add a jar to. This is really looking perfect. So I'll turn off the heat. And now it's time to assemble the casserole, which is so much fun. I've got some cooked long grain rice, and I'm gonna add 1/2 of this bowl to the casserole. Spread out the rice, and then 1/2 of this luscious broccoli cheese sauce goes in, and then the rest of the rice goes on. The rest of the sauce, and the rest of the grated sharp cheddar. Now I'm gonna put this into the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. I'm gonna be heading to church soon, and I cannot wait because that means I'm gonna get to eat this beautiful broccoli rice casserole at the potluck. How good does this look? I cannot recommend this enough. You dive in, and at this point, words fail me. Looks so good. Obviously, at a potluck, there'd be a lot more food to go with it, but I just wanted to show you its deliciousness.